Hello. If you guys have followed my Instagram, you have seen that I have in fact sold my house, including the shop, and we have moved out. Now it's taken me a little bit to get to making this video just because that was a tough move, but I'm in the new casa. I think what's really cool, and some of you guys who have stuck with me through the thick and thin have noticed, is the person who bought that house, the person who built the shop, even Victoria as well, those people are not the same people that moved out. I am grateful for how tough that house was for us and the lessons that I learned. There's been a lot of things that I've been very silently battling that have been huge personal growth for me over the last few years in particular. As I've said, I started focusing on my mental health. I got brain scans done and realized that I had one of the most rare forms of panic disorder that's available to humans. I did have pretty dramatic PTSD, really bad depression, obsessive compulsive disorder. I mean, I got Tourette's. I got the whole slew of all the things that affect your brain in some cases. So, in most cases, actually. But here's sort of my takeaway, and I really want to talk about this, especially with how like extravagant my life looked, how cool, like, I mean, you have no idea. I mean, it really is cool to be able, I mean, it seems so cool, especially in the beginning. It seems so cool to be able to be like, yeah, I have a 4,000 square foot house and a 3,500 square foot garage on my property. Everybody in the world that loves cars, you know, even if you don't know who I am, they're like, oh my God, that's the dream right there. Obviously, it's the dream, right? Here's the reality of it though. All of it was kind of to just keep up with everybody else, to try and fabricate this really cool life so that I could continue to just get views and likes and subscribers and sponsors and this and that. And after those 4 years of trying my hardest, I saw that I was still losing sponsors. I was getting dropped left and right towards the end there, and I was just getting super depressed. And I had no idea what was going on. And it took me a while to realize this, but I started thinking, especially on some of my long drives for drifting and stuff, like I spent a lot of time thinking that I knew what I needed, pretending to like the life that I put myself in or that I was put in. All the extravagant things like the AMG, I had some cool stuff, the GTR, the Supra, the Skylines, like it was awesome, right? It was like perfect. And I realized this on one of my just quiet times in the car. As a Christian, as you guys know, I'm a Christian. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever. As a Christian, God will put you to the test. I know this, based on what you preach. So like, for example, a lot of times I used my own success, my own patience, my own will to survive, my own will to be successful as a testament to my success. I would be like, listen guys, it's just right over the horizon. Gotta have faith. Life might be. I said so many times, life might be tough right now, but it's gonna get better. And I think as a Christian, God, especially if He wants to put you in the spot you need to be, sometimes He'll go, do you really believe that? I mean, my life verse has been Romans 5:3. Persevere. That's in Hebrew, but persevere. Rejoice in your suffering, because suffering produces perseverance, character, hope. That's my whole brand that we built. And I just taught people to persevere, even though I don't think that I even fully learned for myself what that meant. And so yeah, like I said, I think God sometimes will go, listen dude, I've given you a lot, you're not giving me enough credit. Do you really believe what you're telling all these people? And everybody's situation is unique in that. But man, I tell you what, I had to go through years of decline that didn't even make sense on paper. YouTube views going away, money dropping, sales going down, most of my sponsors dropping me out of the blue, even though I was the one that either helped create the brand or the ambassador program or whatever it is, you name it. It sucked. Years of heartbreak. I mean, it was tough, dude. I'm telling you, like I said, I still struggle with depression. There was a lot of times over the past few years that I didn't want to be alive anymore. And that's as vulnerable as I'll get with you in that topic. But I went through those years of heartbreak so that I could learn, so that I could really be sure that there is hope for you that won't be cut off. God showed me that I wasn't experiencing what I was teaching you, what I was trying to encourage you with. I've always been a Christian. I've always wanted to be, good and be positive and try and use myself as an example. But my mind might have been in the right place, but my heart was not. I was using the materialism as some sort of tool to get you to believe that there was hope. And there's a lot of advice out there that I know that has helped people and has helped change perspective, but still, my mind was in the right place, my heart wasn't. And in order for your heart to get to the right place, sometimes you got to be the piece of gold that is refined as much as possible. You're burned to the deepest parts to be who you're supposed to be and to actually really prove to yourself and be what you need to be for others. But the materialism thing, I mean, going back to the anxiety, here's another thing. I was trying to cover, I didn't know what the hell to do with my money at one point. I was so grateful for all the money coming in, but I didn't know what to do because I couldn't drive, I couldn't travel, I literally couldn't take vacations. The only thing I would do was buy myself a new video game to play on the PC because I was scared to drive more than an hour. I couldn't drug myself enough to go on a 1 hour plane ride, much less 17 to Australia like I did a year and a half ago. I was miserable. I was miserable, but on the outside, you guys saw me with this crazy wide body AMG. Like I said, Skyline, Supras, this and that, massive shop, and it looked like everything was amazing. But I realized that the AMG, the shop, the house, the views, the subscribers, the Instagram likes, the money coming in, the sponsorships, no matter how much of that I got, it left me so empty. And the hardest part was, even though I filled my house with children and a wife, I lived in 4,000 square feet of emptiness. I had a 3,200 square foot shop of emptiness. I didn't want to go out to my shop. There was many days where I dreaded going out to my shop. I had to force myself to take medication just to go out there and get something done because I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to, I had too many cars. I got in the habit of just buying a new car every time that something inconvenient happened. And that sort of algorithm for me, it worked for a little bit until I realized I was putting myself in this impending doom of you're not going to end up finishing these because you don't want to. You just want the views. You want money to come in. And that was the reality of the last 4 years. And that was what was really hard. And I would have never been able to clarify that if my heart wasn't in the right place because, yeah, my mind, albeit I wanted to be the good Christian YouTuber that was the positivity king, still left me empty no matter how much I had. And it took me selling everything to realize I have everything that I need. And God's provision is enough, no matter how big or little. A company that's been with us since the beginning and has not dropped us, not left us, has been Helix Sleep. And I want to thank them so much for being with us and so much for working with us. I owe them this. Helix is amazing. We, especially after moving and doing as much, I have gotten 3 to 4 hours of sleep most nights for the past 3 weeks. What I've learned, especially after becoming a parent, is the quality of sleep you get is so much more important than the amount of sleep that you get. And a big factor in that is going to be the bed that you use. And we have been using the Helix Moonlight Luxe for ourselves actually since we moved in to this last house that we sold. Actually over 4 years now we've been using it. It's fantastic. But you take a quiz, you talk about your height, weight, how you sleep. If you sleep on your back, your side, your stomach. I kind of sleep sometimes I wake up upside down. I be doing all those things. But through that quiz, they choose a mattress that suits your sleep needs because everyone's sleep is different. Then once you decide to pull the trigger on that mattress, it shows up to your doorstep, free shipping to your door. You open it up, the box inflates, the mattress inflates, and it's fantastically wild. We have it for us. Both of our girls have Helix Sleep mattresses and we absolutely love them. But they've been great. The cool thing is they have a 100-night sleep trial to where if you don't like the mattress, you can send it back, get all your money back, and they take care of it for you. But from what I've seen from you guys and my subscribers is you guys have loved the mattresses, and I love the feedback for that. And Helix obviously does too. Flexible payment plans available just in case it's not fully in the budget yet, you don't have the cash at the moment. So they have that, and they also have a 10-year warranty. Now, concurrent with the Labor Day sales they have going on right now, this is the biggest discount I've seen them do. 27% off plus 2 free pillows with your mattress purchase. And that's an amazing deal. It's much more than the normal deal. You have to go to, my landing page is helixsleep.com/EvanShanks. The promo code for this is HelixPartner27. You gotta enter that to get the 27% off. You do that, get yourself sleeping so much better. Affordable payment options, 100-night sleep trial. I mean, you can literally get your money back if you don't like it. That's huge. So a big thank you, after all these years, to Helix Sleep for supporting us and honestly supporting you guys getting better sleep. I've heard a lot of you guys love it. So we love them. We love you, Helix Sleep. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. Now, I'm gonna get on to the rest of this talk. A lot of you guys know, obviously, I am a dad. I'm a parent now. What I've realized is a good father will punish the child that he loves. A good father will punish the child that he loves. He will not spare the rod, if you will. As a dad, I now realize that. I mean, if you genuinely, wholeheartedly love your children, as hard as it is for you to punish them, as hard as it is for you to see them crying, you know what's best for them. They shouldn't stick a fork in this wall socket. It's gonna piss them off sometimes if you tell them no and you slap their hand, but they don't know you're saving their lives. They don't know that. They just think you're mad at them. This is exactly what Christ does. This is exactly what God does. And this is what I've experienced personally in my life. A lot of the times I got my hand slapped. I would scream. I mean, I had truck drives where I was screaming, I was crying, I was bawling because I'm like, you are abandoning me. You can't, there's no way you can be doing this and love me. I'm trying to be the best I can here. And when you're a good father, you do things for your children that they can't see. We live on one timeline. We're not omnipresent. We don't know what the hell's gonna happen. For all I know, all of this, what seems like on the outside, all this downfall, all of this failure, all these hardships, like those were to put me into the melting pot, to make my heart have the correct perspective so that my mind could then get right. All the sponsors that dropped me, all of the viewers that I lost, it's not even like the haters, the DMs or anything like that. It was just like the number that I saw. I saw the disinterest. It was just so heartbreaking because a lot of you guys know I was one of the first automotive influencers out there. I mean, there was no vlogging to exist when I started making videos. I know Engineering Explained has been around for forever. There was Mighty Car Mods and stuff. There was like 4 people making automotive, maybe 5 or 6, I don't know. But there was not many people, and so me with that in the back of my mind, I'm like, God, I practically started this. Why are people abandoning me or hating me or this or that? And that's not really the case, but that's how I felt it. And so I'm the child here, and I just wasn't seeing the big picture, and I was doing the wrong thing. I was sticking a fork constantly in the socket and getting my hand slapped, but I kept freaking sticking it back there, not realizing that I was just not in the right mentality. My heart was not going the right direction. A lot of times what I've learned from this particular scenario is God, he'll say not yet. It's so discouraging to pray something and then just not see it happen. And then people will just be like, no, keep praying, dude, keep praying, dude, keep praying, dude. Your prayers don't always get answered into a no. Sometimes it's just not yet. But I personally take the not yet as abandonment, as punishment, as leaving me out to dry. And that's just not it. I wanted to take this video and take this time to say that, what I've gone through in secret over the past few years, and there's so much that I just won't ever be able to tell you, because not that there's any things I can't tell you, but it's just there's so much I've been through emotionally, physically, mentally, that I can't bring to words. There's no words to be said in the English language to clarify how I've felt and the things that have happened to me in silence over the past few years. And I want you to finally realize that what I needed was to drop the material and put my hands up and say, Jesus, take the wheel. Literally. To you guys, it might seem like, I've been forgotten, or I've failed, or even that I've given up. It's so hard to come to you and say that I'm thankful for the things that I've had to go through. But this is what it's about. Getting put into the crucible is not always the worst thing in the world. It feels like it. Believe me, I've had some agonizing years, days, months, filled with faith, but still not seeing any return. In fact, seeing anything but a return. The person that moved into this house and built this shop, covered up crippling panic disorder, manic depression, major insecurity, trying to be relevant and trying to keep up with the Joneses. I did all this to build cars that I knew I would never be able to drive. I took on projects I didn't care about, really all just for the sake of trying to make money from a life that I was ultimately scared of. I was frightened by the idea of being able to enjoy what I was doing. And even though it seemed like on the outside there was success, I was in the worst place I've ever been. God does not call the equipped. He equips the called. If you feel insignificant, that means nothing. I mean, that means nothing. Anything in a snap of a finger can change for your life, in a good or a bad way. He gives, he takes away. But if you're called to do something, it doesn't have to make sense. In fact, most times it just won't make sense. Final takeaway is here. You'll never make anyone happy. When you live your life for others, i.e. influencers really, or anybody in the workplace, when you live your life for others, it might bring about temporary success, i.e. my life, but it will ultimately leave you empty if you're not working on yourself and taking care of yourself. It's better to do what you love and lose people's interest than gain people's interest and lose yourself. So this is the new me, I suppose, but that's not a new me. I'm literally the same freaking goofball that drove around his silly little Subaru STI. I want to thank you guys for listening today. And to be honest, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know where we're going from here. But I'll keep you guys updated. As you guys might know, I've been competing in Pro-Am drifting, and I'm 2 podiums away from being an FD Pro Spec next year. I spend way too much time on my sim. That's actually not true. I probably owe myself some time on the sim. I'm actually leaving to go to No Coast today, so that's pretty fun. But I've fully enveloped my life in drifting, and honestly, the money from the house, the money from everything that we've sold, I've sold like 7 cars, my house, a lot of things. I'm gonna use that money to buy myself time. Not to create content or not to try and make another buck. But I realized if I'm not doing what I love, and if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, it doesn't really matter because it can all vanish in the blink of an eye anyways. I was doing what I knew would make me money for a long time, and I still saw decline. I was doing everything right on paper, still. But I think that was the lesson to be learned, and God will give you battles that nobody else has when he's planning on giving you a victory nobody else can get. A lot of deep words, I guess, here today, but I love you and I'll see you soon. I don't know what the YouTube thing will hold, but we do have some Shanks racing tees you want to support on the site, and we have potentially a new brand we're launching pretty soon. And I post on Instagram all the time still, so you can still see me. I just figuring it out, guys. So I love you all, and this is probably the best video I've ever made. First time I've ever ended the video happy and not immediately frowned and gone inside and just put my head down and worked and dreaded the next day. I gotta get on the road. I gotta go to Albuquerque, so peace out. I said peace op.